Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston, and across from me is the one and the only Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson. How's it going, Chuck?
Third tallest libertarian that we know of as of now.
Third tallest?
Yeah.
I forgot about that, actually.
Nothing wrong with bronze.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you feel a sense of pride when you think about being the third tallest known libertarian?
Three's better than, I don't know, 10, I guess.
I guess that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could say that that's better. It is currently Friday, which means it's Dumb Bleep of the Week.
The dumbest things that have happened post-election.
There's been so many dumb things that have happened over the last couple weeks, and over the last week, it's tough to wrap them all into a single episode and talk about them. It really is. Yeah. We have 11 dumbs
we would
today.
Need probably, we could do a 24-hour news cycle.
We could.
On dumbs.
We definitely could. We've got 11 today. And if it's your first time joining, by the way, this is Good Morning Liberty. We talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning every single day of the week. Smash follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast app, which hopefully is Apple Podcasts, because I'm pretty sure that's the only one that's working right now. But they're going to get that fixed.
Issues with Spotify?
Still Spotify, and I don't know. I haven't heard from anyone. Maybe someone in the group can let us know. Is it working on something other than Apple right now? Anyone in here use something other than Apple to listen to the show, and you can see our new episodes pop up? Because I know Spotify isn't working. And I don't even know what other podcast apps there are out there. But anyhow, they're going to get that fixed up. I know they're going to get it fixed.
They're working hard.
Very soon. They're going to get that done for us, and we appreciate all the hard work that those people, the fine people over there at Libsyn, are putting in for us. So we've got a lot of dumb bleeps, and the way we do this, if it's your first time joining, is we present to you these bleeps. They are, in fact,
a curated list.
Mm-hmm. The people in the Fed Haters Club who join by going to joingml.com, well, they get to vote at the end of the episode, and we decide who wins Dumb Bleep of the Week. And, of course, I will put it into my spreadsheet, which I checked. I have entered 9 of the Dumb Bleeps this year so far. So yeah. I saved myself a little bit of time next month when we get to Dumb Bleep of the Year. Don't worry. But anyway, we'll see who wins Dumb Bleep of the Year after that. Do we need any more explanation? Do we understand what's going on?
I feel as if that's solid.
All right, that's solid. Let's get the number one here. So I don't really know what I call this. It's the meeting between Biden and Trump at the White House. And first off, the thing everyone's been talking about are the smiles. The number one happiest person in the room there is Joe Biden. Trump's feeling pretty good, too. But Joe and Jill are feeling pretty good about this. Probably, because they got cooed. They got screwed and cooed by the commie Kamala.
And who knows about getting cooed by the government other than Donald Trump?
I mean, look at they're glowing.
Yeah.
They're just glowing. Old pals.
Also, here's the thing. When you're taking a picture, do you typically smile or not smile when you're in front of the camera? I mean, you grow up your whole life, getting in front of the camera to take pictures, and typically your mother tells you to smile.
Yeah. So you're saying they're not happy?
I'm saying it could all be fake.
Well, it is all fake. Mm-hmm. This entire thing is fake. In fact, we're living in the Matrix right now. Currently, we're plugged in being used for batteries, so don't worry about it.
Couldn't get over when I saw the video is the raging fire in that fireplace.
There was a big fire going.
Everything was going.
It had to be hot in there.
Was it chilly?
I mean, they're wearing suits. It had to be. Now, the White House is an old building. It could be pretty drafty in there, I guess.
That fire, when you watch the video, you could hear it.
Well, it's going. It's going. The point I really wanted to make with this, and I guess first, while we're talking about video, we'll show some video from this, and then we'll make the big point from it. Here's this.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Let bygones be unburdened
By
what
they
happened
were.
yesterday.
By what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the number one most
I do
obvious
like
point
the welcome back.
to make the... Welcome back.
Welcome back.
The most obvious point to make from this is that's not how I imagine talking to Hitler. You know? If you're sitting in a chair across from Hitler and there's a raging fire behind you, first, that thing was really going. You
I
could hear
told
it in the
you.
recording.
That's what I said
It was
when
going.
I first watched this. I was like, my
Good
God.
Lord, that's a hazard. Or the Secret Service needs to get on that fire. It's dangerous. Anyhow, maybe that
The
was
ventilation.
Maybe
in
that was the plan.
I mean, they should study the ventilation for that fire. It was
They
able
did-
to
they
just
did a good- it's a nice chimney. Whoever made that, they need to use that for
Quality.
that. So it's pretty wild when you're talking to Hitler and you're taking a bunch of smiling pictures, walking around with him, saying there's going to be a smooth transition to authoritarian fascism with death camps and all kinds of stuff. You know, typically you're pretty happy. Or that was all fake and everyone knows it. Biden knows it. If he's still there, Jill knows it. She's still here. Trump knows
And
that
it was
Biden
all
knew
fun
it
and,
wasn't true.
By the way, it was all fun and games for the Bidens
Mm-hmm.
until it happened to them.
That's true.
Think about that.
They're like, man, this government really is dirty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate the Democrats too.
Yeah. It's all fun and games until it happens to you.
Mm.
All right.
Speaking on this, just to make fun of Josh Eagle one more time, he said the 2028 Democratic candidate, 2028 Democratic map. This is an add-on. I think this is General Milley. Yeah, that's Mark Milley right there. He's showing Milley sweeping the nation. Almost all of the states are blue. And I'll ask the question one more time. What 2028 election? How is there going to be a 2028 election now that Hitler is in power?
Yeah.
Are you an idiot? Are you stupid or something?
You just got done saying that this is the last election.
It's over.
Yeah.
This is Hitler. Hitler wasn't worried about re-election or the next person coming in for election. Come on, man. So anyhow, Josh left Twitter, by the way. He's gone.
Oh.
Gone from X, and I feel it. I feel the emptiness in my soul. Announced it proudly. There we go. How about number 2 for this FEMA thing? I want to talk about
All
this
right.
FEMA.
Florida sues FEMA for discrimination, accusing it of denying aid to Trump supporters.
Now, that's not dumb.
No.
The FEMA thing is dumb. Here's that text message that was leaked. Someone took a picture of it.
All right. Implement best practices. Not one goes anywhere alone. That's number 1. Number 2 on the list, like the Second Amendment. This is most important. Avoid homes advertising Trump.
So that's weird. We don't have to read all the things. Oh, well, except for avoid high salt diets and coffee.
Yeah.
You also want to, that's part of their best practices. That way they want to make sure that they're, so this was after the hurricane in Florida. It's pretty wild to hear all these accusations of bias and all that from the government, but then to plainly see it where they're like, yeah, don't go to people who have Trump signs. And their reasoning is, well, they might be hostile with you or something like that. I don't know. If you're going to someone's house after a disaster and you're offering to give them money, I don't feel like it would be super hostile after that.
Well, these are people that are promoting Hitler.
That's true. That's
So,
true. Here's the story.
Wouldn't you want to avoid the SS homes?
I guess you would. Makes sense.
All right. The story is Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody. She's suing the FEMA administrator, Deanne Criswell, a former FEMA supervisor, for violating the civil rights of Florida residents in a response to Hurricane Helene and Milton, which hit in late September and early October. The federal lawsuit accuses FEMA officials of conspiring to discriminate against Florida hurricane victims who support President-elect Donald Trump. The suit names Criswell and former FEMA supervisor Washington, who was fired after reports that she directed FEMA workers in Lake Placid, Florida, to skip over houses that displayed Trump campaign signs and flags in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton.
We pretty much know the story here. The next part of the story was that FEMA fired her, and they said this is disgusting, and we don't support this kind of thing. And now the person who got fired Washington, Marnie Washington, was that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Marnie Washington was like, yeah, this is a company-wide policy here. By company, I mean government bureaucrats.
This isn't just me.
Yeah, it's not.
This is coming from the highest level.
They told me to do this. And so she's not happy about being fired, apparently.
Yeah.
So she's out there saying, yeah, they always do this. And she was on Fox to give her reasoning on this. And let's listen to the 24 seconds of this particular exchange.
And someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home. If you have loose dogs and someone on the team is comfortable with dogs and another person is not, we can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with vicious dogs in their backyard.
Exactly. And just and that's based on the trends. You can ask FEMA for
That's exactly right. You got it.
Yes.
Same thing. A roving band of vicious dogs. Same thing. It would be like if the family had pet bears.
This is exactly the same thing.
Which the female workers for FEMA would definitely go in there because bears are safe.
Yeah, bears are safer.
But the male FEMA workers would be frightened.
The FEMA male.
Yeah.
The FEMA males, of course. All right.
I mean, on that note, the female workers should avoid homes with males in it, and they should only help homes that have bears in it.
That's true. It would be safer
for looking for safety precautions.
Only bears.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. All right, number 3. That was number 2. How about number 3?
But also, she's coming out and saying that this is a directive from higher up.
Yeah, that wasn't part of that video, but that was her response in an interview.
I hope she saved all that. You know,
sure she did. I mean, I think she's unhappy about getting thrown under the bus when she was doing what she's told to do.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I like that.
And after Rosa Parks fought for rights on the bus, and now she's getting underneath it.
She's not even at the back of it.
No.
She's under the bus right now.
Yeah.
So we're still fighting right now. It's a racist country.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, Chuck Schumer. I just wanted to point out real quick that they Democrats just lost in a landslide, and they're still doing this. But how about just a pointless post from Chuck Schumer for things that don't matter? This new class of Democratic senators is the most diverse slate of candidates ever. This person and this person mark the first time 2 black women have served together in the Senate. Wow, check that off of my list then. Good job, everyone. Good job. Senator Kim is the first Korean American to serve. Ooh, Kim, Korean. Which Korea?
Yeah. Is this a North Korean asset?
It might be. Yeah, probably is.
He has the same name.
Gallego expands the number of Hispanic senators. For anyone who is counting or cares about any of this whatsoever, this kind of stuff right here is why I'm pretty sure the bulk of Americans, what people call working class Americans, people are worried about their day-to-day lives, are like, screw this S word. I'm done with this. Who cares?
Here's an idea, Chuck. Give up your seat for someone more diverse than you. You're an old, rich, white guy.
But he's Jewish. Yeah.
That makes him more diverse.
So you can't forget that. How about this one? This one's interesting, Charlie, for things going on in your life. Charlemagne, the God, says it's fine to misgender Caitlyn Jenner because she voted Trump. So Caitlyn Jenner did post a screenshot of voting, voted for Donald Trump. And Charlemagne says that you can call her a he. That's fine because she voted for him.
Hitler.
For Hitler. So that's fine. Kyle Kalinsky, he says this is correct. And I want to point out, I think it's likely you will agree with me, Charlie, that this means they have no actual beliefs.
Well, we know that.
Of this being the truth.
Yeah.
It is a political weapon that people use. If you believe that this is the truth, then you would not say it's okay to misgender someone because of their political beliefs. You would say, no, I'm going to call them what their gender is because that is correct and everyone else is wrong. But when you say, well, I don't like their political beliefs, so it's fine to misgender someone, something that would get you banned from Twitter back in the old days. In fact, I'm sure a lot of people did get banned.
Is it okay to dead name?
I guess so.
And call Caitlyn Bruce?
I would assume that's okay as well. Why would it not be?
How these people put this kind of stuff like on the internet and then continue to just go on about their day
and
as if they
continue
didn't
to
just
act like they have the moral high ground on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
this is part of what made me vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Like, F these people, F them,
F them.
I'm so done.
Thank you for saying F.
And then for me, I know you got radio stuff to
it's
do.
less stuff to worry about.
And then for me to be called, transphobic and that I have hate
Which you
speech,
have been called.
Yeah.
In the last few days.
Then, and then for Kyle to be like, correct. These, jokers, man.
It's bringing out the J word.
I'm just done with them.
These jive turkeys out here.
I know. That's what I was about to say.
Sorry, we'll have to take that. We'll have to cut that out.
This one's pretty dumb. Just call me a jive turkey.
No, I called you. Sorry. Anyway, Whoopi Goldberg has a big announcement that's sending shockwaves through the male culture. All of us, we're in our own little club where we talk about things we're sad about. And this is one of them, is that she's going to go on a sex strike. That's sad. All right, here we go.
This. We all came. I dare. Yeah, you didn't get here by yourself, man. You can't do this without us. Yeah. And if we don't let you, you don't get any. It's that simple. It's that simple.
You won't get any. Now, I just have to cross her off my list, Sad stuff. Sad stuff. So
you're telling me that liberal women are now going to save themselves for marriage?
Oh, the horror. They're really owning the right by doing that, aren't they? Yeah. We talked about this. This actually won Dumb Bleep last week, Charlie. You were gone for it, but the 4B movement actually won Dumb Bleep last week.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great.
And it's not dumb. They're like self-correcting towards what people think they should do in the first place, which is wait for the right person.
This is mass formation reverse psychology at its best.
It's exactly.
Can we coin a new term there?
Sure.
Mass formation reverse psychology.
I like it.
Yeah.
We'll coin that.
We elect a president that makes you decide to stop spreading your legs. Of your own volition.
That's a great idea.
We're not forcing you to stop being whores, but you're voluntarily going to stop. And then it's a detriment to us.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad for sure.
How awful these poor women are just they're going to become celibate. And then, it's almost as if we're going to go back to the times pre-birth control. Where women were a lot more selective, which is obviously the step to The Handmaid's Tale.
It is. Which, by the way, on The Handmaid's Tale, real quick, you watch that show, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's still a good show.
Yeah, but I just want. I don't
and
know
what
if anyone
you said, abortion rates are going to plummet.
I don't know if anyone in the group or anyone who's listening agrees with me on this, but The Handmaid's Tale might be a good show, but I didn't watch it because I knew what they were doing, and and I knew why they were doing it. Like it was a show, and they probably did a good job, but it was a political cry. It was a political propaganda tool. That show was, and it has worked for a lot of people,
which is so ridiculous.
Which is why I refused to watch it, because I knew why they made it. And why it was so popular. And I, unlike Charlie, did not give in to that, even if it did look like it was a pretty good show. And so...
Well, I'm able to watch it objectively and be like...
I didn't want to give them the plays. That's what they make their living off of.
Well, I did.
Way to go. Way to give them money, Charlie. You're fighting against everything you're fighting for. Okay, Dumb Bleep number 6. We gotta keep going here.
I still watch movies like Interstellar. That's not real.
Yeah.
That we know of.
That's pretty. I think that one's a documentary. Pretty sure.
You think Matthew's still there?
Yeah, he's still he is, but we just won't know for like 100 years. But he's going to pop back up somewhere.
Okay.
All right. Number 6 is just going to be called reactions to the Trump transition. Some of these are going to be reactions to the cabinet picks. or reactions to the transition to Trump in general. So there's quite a few wrapped up in Dumb Bleep number 6. So it's Trump trans reactions is what transition reactions is what we have. And AOC will start off with her clip explaining why basically how did they describe this? This is a pro-war nomination. Tulsi Gabbard as a pro-war nomination. Here we go.
And we haven't even gotten to Tulsi Gabbard potentially having access to national security information. And Russia loves it, loves her.
And I actually think almost more than Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard's appointment is devastating. And Tulsi Gabbard's nomination, as much as she says that she's an anti-war person, she's not.
Yeah.
She supports very pro-war individuals,
including
abroad.
in Syria.
And let's be very clear, a Tulsi Gabbard nomination is a pro-war nomination.
I'm glad they were
globally.
clear about
Point
that.
blank, period.
As is Donald Trump,
and the period.
as
She said the
president
period,
of the United
just
States.
so you know.
And we have.
So they brought up the Syria thing again. We'll bring in more of the information from it next week. But she met with Assad back in the day. She said she's not sorry about it because she wanted to talk to Assad and see if she could talk him down, see what the grievances were, and try and find some kind of solution so they could try and have some kind of democratic outcome in Syria without just going to a full-blown war. And they'll say that because she talked to someone like Assad, that she's pro-war because that makes her pro-Assad by talking to people. I mean, we have, and probably not just the left, but it seems to be a lot on the left right now, that talking to your adversaries it equals supporting them.
Same.
You know what I mean? It's like
well,
this
you know, when
opinion.
Trump met with Putin and he met with Kim Jong-un and
I know
all of these adversarial people, he's obviously has another agenda. It's their agenda. It's the foreign government's agenda.
Like, I prefer to not go to war with these people, you know? And if that takes a conversation with them, even if you got to stroke their ego a little bit, if it prevents war, you know?
These kinds of people, though, don't understand that. Like, if they don't agree with someone, they cut them off.
That's where I was about to go.
There's no conversation to be had because these people are the worst kind of people on earth, and there's no sense in having any sort of... You can't give them the dignity of having a human conversation.
With you, who's so morally superior on your high ground.
Which, by the way, is actually an ego-driven, I'm going to cut you off and stonewall you. And then, here's the thing, there's no solution that comes out of that except for a fight. That's the only... Because you don't understand each other. You're not trying to understand anything. This is in very simple terms. It goes back to even your own personal relationships. If you're not willing to communicate or talk, then it is war.
I mean, Biden, to my knowledge, they've not had any meetings with Putin. And we've spent a couple $100 billion in one way or another with this war. And they won't meet and try to talk to him, even if he's willing to meet and talk to someone. I would think that's an important thing. You don't got to give him what he wants, but at least keep a channel open and talk to him and try to be civilized, you know? But they won't even do it. And so anytime someone mentions meeting with Putin or Elon Musk talked to Putin on a phone a few times or something like that, it immediately means that you support that person, you know? It's so weird. Like, one of the reasons that Kamala wouldn't go on Joe Rogan's podcast is because she didn't want to be supporting the things that he says on that show. That's good luck to you if you want to do that. But I would rather have the other people in charge.
That's the other thing. These 4B girls, you know, one of the red flags, if you're a man, is if you listen to Joe Rogan. So
that's a red flag.
Perfect.
Good. Speaking of,
I say mention it on the first date within the first couple of sentences. You know, be like, I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. Are you? And see what they say.
They could say no because they're too long, like the episodes are too long or whatever.
Well, but then you know that you can just, you know, dine and dash.
There you go. Leave her with the bill for women's rights.
Yeah.
Here we go. this is
People are going to cut that clip, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how misogynistic and sexist I am.
They should. They should cut it. I recommend that they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the apparently anti-war people, the Biden administration is going to make sure that they shovel every dollar that they have at their disposal out the door to Ukraine before the administration goes out. So we're going to add that on to what AOC was just saying, I guess.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Not back to the people from which it was stolen.
Mm-mm. Out the door.
Out the door to Ukraine as quick as they can before this transition happens. But they're the anti-war people, of course.
Yep.
Let me see. I want to make sure I don't miss any. We do have the Elizabeth Warren thing. I can play that one, unfortunately. We only played like 15 seconds of it yesterday. So here's Chief Warren talking.
Many things I disagree with Marco Rubio on, and I haven't decided yet about voting for him, but he is qualified. He has experience. We may have differences that would cause me to say, I don't think that he should be Secretary of State, and we'll go through that. We'll listen to the hearings. I want to hear very carefully from him. But what we're talking about with people like Matt Gaetz is very different from what we're talking about with people like Marco Rubio, and we just have to keep that in mind. But do understand with Matt Gaetz, and you've already made this point, he's not the only one out there who is unqualified and who raises whole questions like Tulsi Gabbard does. You really want her to have all of the secrets of the United States and our defense intelligence agencies when she has so clearly been in Putin's pocket? That just has to be a hard no.
Putin's pocket means you offer an alternative to what their view of the war strategy should be, or if you say that NATO or Ukraine or America had anything to do with leading to this war, you're in Putin's pocket, because Putin might say something like that. And so therefore, if you happen to agree partially, even partially, then you're in his pocket automatically.
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot yesterday. Here you go, Charlie, from Joe Walsh.
When you voted for Trump, you voted to put Tulsi Gabbard, a Russian asset, in charge of our nation's intelligence. That's what you voted for. Congratulations. Well, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks a lot. How about this one?
I appreciate the congratulations. Tulsi had tweeted, this war and suffering could have easily been avoided if Biden administration and NATO had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns regarding Ukraine's becoming a member of NATO, which would mean U.S. NATO forces right on Russia's border. And Republicans against Trump, quote, posted. It's not quote tweeted anymore. They quote posted. Moments after Putin launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Trump's nominee for DNI rushed to Twitter to blame the United States and NATO, not Putin, for the war. This is proof, by the way. They end this tweet here, a Russian asset.
A Russian asset. How about that?
By
Here's
the way,
a good one
Tulsi
about RFK.
Gabbard wasn't the only one saying those things.
No.
Is people who are very well versed in war and the history of war and what's happened were saying the same things. It doesn't take... This didn't happen that long ago. This is like 30 years ago in the 90s. This is not that long ago. You don't have to go back very far.
Then we got
to understand why Putin would be upset about something like this.
Then we got a 2014 coup and all that. Now we got a response here about RFK from the Lincoln Project.
All right, from the Lincoln Project, RFK's nomination: get yourself and your family vaccinated while you still can. Seriously, this isn't a joke.
It's no joke.
It's no joke,
Being
man.
serious.
Because RFK said, I think he said on the campaign, day one, he's eliminating all vaccines.
He's going to ban all the vaccines. You won't be able to get them anymore.
Yeah.
We didn't mention yet that, since we started this episode, that Trump did it. He nominated RFK.
Oh, yeah.
For HHS.
He did.
I am shocked. And if you guys...
You are, I'm not.
If you guys would like it, I will keep predicting that these things won't happen. That way they happen. You know, I'll keep calling the opposite. Like the day before the Tulsi nomination, I was like, yeah, I don't think he's going to do Tulsi and RFK. And then still yesterday, I was like, yeah, I don't think he's going to do RFK. And he does RFK later.
30 minutes later.
What else would you
guys?
Yeah, it was right after. What else would you guys like? Oh, I don't think Ron Paul's going to have any part of this administration. There's no way Trump would go that far.
No.
But I'm putting myself on the record right now. Ron Paul is done.
Thomas Massey has no chance.
No chance at all. That's it. There will not be a libertarian in the cabinet. Okay? I'm saying that. Mark my book. Mark this podcast episode. And write down the time that it happened at.
This is part of that mass formation reverse psychology.
You're welcome, everyone. I did want to say a word about
How
RFK.
wrong have you been?
I've been
this year.
This
is the most wrong I've seen
the
you.
last couple of months have been just a string of wrongness. And
good thing I get to play the other side.
How's it feel?
This side of the desk.
I'm kidding. I know how it feels. I don't have to ask.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
I say I miss that feeling. Just hold on to it though, because it's fleeting.
With the RFK nomination, I am most of my excitement comes from the idea that we're just going to shake things up a little bit. You know, maybe there'll be some corruption rooted out or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's going to lead to death, though, Nate. Okay.
I don't like RFKs.
You're willing to shake things up to lead to death?
Yeah. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. I don't like RFK's policy prescriptions very much. See the HHS policy prescriptions for most things. I think he's right about a lot of the chemicals in our food, probably. I think he's right about the fluoride thing. I don't see any reason to have that. But then I also I don't immediately feel like those things need to be banned because I don't want the government to ban those things. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to do about those things. There could be a lot of chemicals that cause problems that are in food, cereal. People talk about cereal a lot. I know that there's already other cereals out there that don't have those things because I buy them. They're more expensive, but they exist on the market. So like if the people care about that, if the market cares about that, they would force those companies to switch to those things. That's how that's how much I believe in the free market. Now, what might be missing is education or knowledge about the dangers of these things. Maybe that's been corrupted by government scientists and studies and stuff like that have been paid for by a bunch of the big companies that use these chemicals. And so you can try and prevent that. But it's a market thing, and people have to decide that they want something else. I don't want to force them in this. If I want to eat 8 bags of Doritos a day and blow up to 500 pounds and die when I'm 60, like that's my right as an American. I feel like.
Question from the group: is cheap food worth poor health? Well, that's a nuanced question because people can die of starvation.
Well, that's not
but here's the thing, okay? Do you think if you go to Djibouti, that the person who's starving there is going to care about whether or not their Fruit Loops has red dye 40 in it?
But that's not really the conversation. Is cheap food worth poor health? That's not for me to answer. That's for you to answer. You've got the opportunity to buy more expensive food that's better for you already right now.
You can't buy it though.
Isn't it better? We're acting like that's the case, that we'll ban the things and the cheap food will be healthier automatically. Like organic stuff is more expensive because you yield less product when you don't use the chemicals.
If I'm an extremely poor person and I don't have the option to buy the more expensive option, at least I have the option to buy the cheaper option.
Yeah.
Which is going to help keep me alive in the short term, although it could cause problems later on.
Yeah, yeah. Now I don't know. Some of these added like the dyes, the food dyes. Okay, not adding those dyes. First off, you got to figure out why do they put the dyes in there in the first place?
To make it fun.
To make it a color
for kids.
Now the dye costs money. They have to buy it. It's not some free dye that appears at the factory. They pay money to get the dye so they can make it a color, and probably so people will buy it. It will be cheaper for them to not dye the food. It takes away one of the ingredients that they have to pay money for. But I think they've decided that that equals less sales or whatever. And so there is a way that you can possibly actually save money by getting rid of some of these completely unnecessary products.
If that's the case, Cheerios will go up because Fruit Loops will just look like Cheerios.
I know.
There'll just be bigger Cheerios.
But to me, it's like it's a market decision. I don't know if it's the government. I don't know if it's their job to decide this. Of course, you bring it. This is a separate episode. What we're talking about right now.
This is very nuanced libertarian.
Extremely nuanced conversation in the middle of dumb bleep number 6 when we have 11 dumb bleeps to go through. So we'll have to move on. Send me your thoughts on this. Do it. Nate at goodmorningliberty.us, or send me a DM on Discord if you're hanging out with us right now. I'm saying I don't know exactly what the libertarian answer is to these things. It's a super complicated, nuanced situation that we're in. So tell me what your guys' thoughts are on this. Informed consent. That's kind of where I'm leaning, T-Dub. I agree with that. Okay, let's go to Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, of course, as you know, I mean, as I know, we've all known this for quite some time.
We're continuing on all the picks. So
These
this is a continuation.
This is a reaction.
In case you got lost.
Yeah, sorry.
In the middle of dumb bleep number 6. These are all the reactions to Trump's cabinet picks.
So here's a reaction about the nominee for Defense Secretary of Defense.
Add the Secretary of Defense nominee, Peter Hegseth, the Fox News commentator as well, because this is someone who, weekend host, important distinction. This is someone who, is known to be a white supremacist, known to be an extremist, whose platform, whose book is basically about his opposition to the advancement of black officers to the top brass.
All right. So he's known to be a white supremacist. And why is he a white supremacist, Charlie?
Well, in his book, apparently, he is trying to keep black people from getting promoted.
Specifically against black people advancing. Just for that reason.
In the top brass.
He just does not want black people to advance in the military. Mm-hmm. Or, alternative conspiracy viewpoint, is his book, in fact, about
meritocracy.
DEI making its way into the military and how it should be a meritocracy and you should not consider anyone's skin color or their sex or whatever it is. Is that, in fact, what his book is about? Because that's what it is about. In fact, I might pick it up and read it just to check it out. But yeah, since he thinks that it should be a meritocracy and you shouldn't advance solely because of your skin color, that makes him a racist. Just so everyone knows, I want to clarify. Just to be clear, that's what we're talking about right now. Republicans against Trump. Now let me ask you what you think this Fox News host, Laura Ingraham, even she thinks that Tulsi Gabbard is a Putin plant, that she is a Russian asset. You know how I know? This is a direct quote from the video, Charlie. Tulsi Gabbard, as director of national intelligence, you think Trump had given it to Putin himself.
There's no sarcasm in there.
No,
this
is a direct quote.
She doesn't go on to explain anything else, I bet.
She wasn't trying to imitate what people on the left are saying. She's saying that. Okay, that's what she's saying. So even if she even thinks this, and it's clearly true.
And those who get rich from the status quo in D.C. are always going to be threatened by anyone demanding accountability. And this explains a lot of the frenzy over Trump's recent cabinet picks. Tulsi Gabbard as director of national intelligence? You think Trump had given it to Putin himself?
So I just, you know what? Keep doing it. Because they sold out. They bet the farm on this election. They did everything they could.
How many views and retweets did this have here? 1.4 million
1.4 million views. And it's
almost 4,000.
It's from this guy's post, which has got, 329,000 views. And this one's 1.4 million, where she's clearly being sarcastic, making fun of people on the left. but they put it in quotes, and they say that Fox News host Laura Ingraham says this about Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing it, guys. Just keep on doing it. Good luck to you. Still on reactions. Don't worry, we only have a couple left, and then we'll move on. Elon Musk had a meeting with the Iranian ambassador to the UN, I believe was he in New York? Yeah, he was in New York. They're trying to discuss a way to de-escalate tensions between our countries. Now, this is actually a good thing, in my opinion. And I would assume he went there with knowledge of Donald Trump. I could be wrong about that. I don't know if he just scheduled his own meeting and he really is working as a shadow president right now and Trump has no clue that he went to do that. But there's a chance that Trump and Elon arranged this meeting to meet with someone who's representing Iran to try and de-escalate tensions between our countries. Number one, that's a good thing.
Number two, he might also be trying to figure out, is Iran really behind these assassination attempts?
That's a good question, too. I think we should ask that question.
Yeah.
All right. Number two, apparently everyone on the left thinks that this is a terrible thing, that Elon Musk should be thrown in prison, and that this is talking with our enemies and all kinds of stuff like that. Just once again, this is immediately a bad thing, that he's trying to talk to people and de-escalate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The threatening with the Logan Act, where you're like acting, not a government agent, but acting as one and talking to a foreign country, that kind of thing. Wanting to prosecute their political opponents, by the way. Seen a lot of people posting about that, getting a lot of retweets. This kind of
My question is, where does free speech fall into this? Like, I'm just not allowed to talk to anybody I want?
I think you can talk. I don't know what the rules of the Logan Act are. I know you can't be acting on behalf of the country, essentially, of the government, and speaking to another government, I believe, is the rule. Haven't read that in quite some time, since we were talking about it back in the old Trump days. Here's Sam Harris. This is the last one for reactions. And he's talking about how dangerous of a world we live in now, where people like Dave Smith are giving their opinions on things, and we're not listening to the experts, like the Wall Street Journal, or whatever paper it is that he mentions.
The Joe Rogan podcast is not a substitute for the Wall Street Journal or the Kennedy School at Harvard. It is simply not progress to have a comedian like Dave Smith, who's apparently done his own research, interviewed about the history of the Middle East or the war in Ukraine.
I want them to keep doing this.
Yeah.
He's still going with you're not the expert. Trust the experts. Don't do your own research. We need to listen to the people that are so much smarter than you. They need to be making all decisions. And this idea right here is kind of what lost the election for them. And so I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm pretty pumped about it.
You're dumb. You don't know what's good for you.
Yeah.
You're deplorable. You're garbage. You're stupid. You have no idea. You don't know how to read a book like our experts know how to read a book.
All because you went to a public school.
God.
All right, we'll move on to number 7 now. This is from Kyle Kalinsky, big old Bernie bro, socialist guy. So the news story, well, go ahead, Charlie.
All right, from CNN, they said in the business section.
Edit, please, when you read it.
Yeah, Elon Musk is on track to soon become the world's first trillionaire. It's probably not true, actually. I think, like the Saudi king is probably a trillionaire. There's other people who have so much money, you just don't hear about them. They're not on a list, But anyway, maybe the first public trillionaire that we know of. So, of course, Kyle posts this and says, this is why America is effed. 41% have medical debt, 650,000 are homeless, 60% live paycheck to paycheck, and Elon Musk is on track to become a trillionaire. Tax his donkey. Nobody should even be a billionaire, never mind a trillionaire. I think he'll get by just fine with 999 million.
Now, I think we should add in crystal ball to this. I think they're together. Can someone tell me? Are they a thing? She talks about Kyle a lot, and I've assumed it's Kyle Kalinsky. Is that true?
That
Someone
might
tell
be
me.
a thing.
Good match, if that's the case. Good job for them. Married. Okay, they are married. A little clip from Breaking Points, which I listen to every day, where she goes a little bit further than what Kyle just said here. And she's talking about the Democrat Party and what direction they have to go after this election. They have to take the message and run with it. And her message is
the working class. There should be purity tests on everything that is core to that war against the plutocrats and a large public purge of those who are on the wrong side of that divide. If you don't agree that billionaires should be abolished, then get the fuck out. If you don't want to tax the rich, get the fuck out. If you don't want to radically increase union power, get the fuck out. If you don't want to implement a universal jobs guarantee, get out. If you don't want universal health care, get out. If you do support these things, but you also have a more moderate position on abortion, guns, trans athletes.
All right, that's enough of that.
Did she get this from the Communist Manifesto?
Directly from it, yeah. Directly from it. And so if you don't support...
Imagine being married to that.
Yeah. If you don't agree billionaires should be abolished, get the F out. Okay? If you don't want to...
You're going to have to edit that, by the
all
way.
those things. Yeah, I know. If you don't want to implement a universal jobs guarantee, get out. Now, she didn't say get the F out, so I guess it's not as big of a get out, but whatever. If you don't want universal health care, get out.
If you don't want to radically increase union power.
So both of these people have completely unreasonable and idiotic positions when it comes to rich people, which we have explained many... Oh, my God.
Well, that's a phone call.
It's a phone call, and I have not been able to figure out how to stop it from coming through my computer. End. Go away. How do I make that not happen?
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
The live group is saying, well, Kyle is the bitch in
Yeah.
that relationship. So.
I believe that. Their ideas about billionaires are completely unreasonable. And Crystal's a pretty smart person, and she's good on a lot of things.
By the way,
she's good enough that I listen to her show every day.
You don't think her and Kyle are pretty,
I'm sure pretty wealthy,
multi-millionaires?
but they're not billionaires, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
You know, no reason to worry about it. They can have the money they have, even though it's radically unequal compared to most people that exist on planet Earth. But that's totally fine, I guess. Billionaires have most of their money, almost all of their money, because they own companies that millions of other individuals have decided to put their mony in so they can grow their retirements
Honestly,
or their
I'm just
investments and
tired
grow
of
their money.
explaining that.
Okay?
I'm just tired of explaining that.
Okay.
You know? If they don't get it, they can get out.
They can get out. Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right?
If you don't understand...
We don't need you.
If you don't understand why Elon Musk would be worth $1 trillion, and then the fact that he doesn't have $1 trillion,
no,
but why his net worth would be $1 trillion, then get out.
Get out of my country.
I don't need to explain it to you.
Get out of here.
If you're that dumb, I don't need to explain it to you.
Yeah. On the off chance that there are people who haven't been listening to us every single day that tried the episode out for the first time and are just now listening to Libertarians, not assuming that it's always the same people every day. I would also say that these people created value for a lot of people in society, and that's why they have that money. And by saying that they shouldn't exist, you're saying that the things they created shouldn't exist. And that is what these people are actually arguing for. The things that these people created should not exist. They want all the things, but none of the value that came from it.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a possibility. It will not happen. You get one or the other. So you're going to have to, I guess, just try to not be, I was going to say envious, but they're really greedy. And I guess that's really the same thing. Greed for other people's stuff. So let's go on to, good Lord, we got some stuff to go through here. My God. We're only at 49 minutes on the episode, though. That's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive.
That's not too bad. So one of our ex-followers posted this a week before last, and it's a Charlie Kirk video. So we're kind of going outside of the election right now. We're going to talk about a libertarian thing. Okay, it's going to be drug legalization. We're going to watch this short from Charlie Kirk where he is doing these debates with people, and someone comes up and says that they want to legalize drugs. And he gives them an example of what libertarianism, where it's already existing. And he uses I believe, San Francisco as his example of libertarianism. And so here's a question about legalizing drugs.
So is it your perspective to decriminalize all drugs?
Yes.
Okay. So including heroin?
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. So do you think San Francisco is a good example of drug policy?
No. No.
But all drugs are legal in San Francisco.
I don't know if that's the case.
No, it is. Yeah, I could literally, you and I could get in a car right now, and you and I can get morphine, we can get heroin or fentanyl on the side of the street and shoot up together and watch the sunset over the Golden Gate Bridge.
With the cops. With the cops.
What?
Just like right next to us, just hanging out.
No, not only that,
shooting up
the state
heroin
gives
next
you
to
the drugs.
And the needles.
And the needles. Did you know that?
No.
That's libertarianism at play, though, my friend. So is it?
All right. Our friend on Twitter, Steve, asked what our thoughts were on this, and he's always hanging out, responding to our stuff all the time, so I want to give my thoughts on this. Charlie Kirk's example is really, really stupid and not an example of libertarianism whatsoever. He says it's legal basically because you can do it, and they're not really going after it. You know, in fact, they'll do these programs where they'll give you the clean needles and stuff like that. Libertarianism, I'll just go all the way, is you being able to go buy brand name heroin at the 7-Eleven on the corner. That's what libertarianism is. And you can look at the ingredients on the back of the box. It's not going to say fentanyl. It'll probably have yellow dye number 5 in it. But, you know, that'll be fine.
Or red 40.
Red 40, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
Some fluoride or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not going to have fentanyl in it because that company wants to protect their brand. And you won't have the state providing those things to people because that's not the state's job to provide those things to people. What would actually happen is nature would kind of take its course a little bit, and people would have to do it the right way, or they would be left to whatever the consequences of their actions are. And you wouldn't steal money from other people to take care of those things or subsidize those things or whatever it is. So whatever it is that San Francisco is doing, I guarantee it's not libertarian.
Yeah.
At all.
It's not safe.
No, it's not safe. It's not actually free. It's not an actual free market of things. It's a black market.
The heroin
of drugs.
would be right next to Bud Light.
It
on
would.
the shelf.
It would be right next to it.
Choose your poison.
So, yeah, you would have brand name and generic, of course. once their patent runs out, you would have that. Actually, I don't know if that's libertarian. I guess it's not really. All right, number 9, people leaving X. Don Lemon announced that he is leaving X. We got Stephen King said he's leaving. Of course, Josh Eccles said he's leaving as well. The Guardian newspaper says they're not going to post on X anymore. And so here's Don Lemon's decision.
You remember what Elon said about, by the way?
Connecting with
what?
Remember what Elon said to the person directly in the audience?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Go F yourself.
Go F yourself. Here you go.
all of you on Twitter and then on X for all of these years. But it's time for me to leave the platform. I once believed that it was a place for honest debate and discussion, transparency and free speech. But I now feel it does not serve that purpose. In addition, starting this Friday, November 15th, X is implementing new terms of service, which among other things states that, quote, all disputes be brought exclusively in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas or state courts located in Tarrant County, Texas, end quote. The full terms of service can be found on my written statement or on the X website. Now, as the Washington Post recently reported on X's decision to change the terms, this, quote, ensures that such lawsuits will be heard in courthouses that are a hub for conservatives, which experts say could make it easier for X to shield itself from litigation and punish critics. I think that speaks for itself. You can find me on YouTube at The Don Lemon Show or on TikTok.
I'll post the links in the show notes. We don't have to listen to him say that. Don't worry about that. Yeah, and he used to think it was an honest forum for debate
when they could silence certain stories,
shut down people,
when they could throttle or boot people off the platform,
when
who
people
said things
they disagree with weren't allowed to talk. Back then, when it was an honest place for debate, yeah. The Guardian says basically the same thing, of course, but they have seen disturbing content found on the platform, including far-right conspiracy theories and racism. So they're going to go to a place where there is no racism or conspiracy theories. And some people are going to just take themselves into their own little echo chamber. And good luck to you. Good luck never trying to get your ideas across to people that disagree with you. We'll see how that works. See that works out for you. It's not going to be good.
What's interesting I'm seeing from the live group is that Twitter or X is now based in Texas, so wouldn't it make sense that it would be based where the organization is? Just like other terms and conditions are in California, like Facebook and Instagram, so obviously where those institutions are is where you can bring the lawsuit. I mean, the other thing for standing is if you were harmed in your own state, you can bring a lawsuit in your state too. I mean, just because the terms and conditions says that doesn't actually govern.
A lot of times those aren't actually enforceable.
Exactly. If I can prove harm done to me sitting here in my residence, I can file a suit here, and my jurisdiction would have, or my courts would have jurisdiction and jurisprudence over the harm caused to me living in this area. It's not, it's so ridiculous.
They're just
so ridiculous.
What happened is they're all very, very embarrassed. As we mentioned several times, everyone bet the farm on this election. They bet every ounce of hyperbolic rhetoric they could muster up, they used during this election cycle. And they thought Kamala was going to win in a landslide. Those crazy, stupid people thought Kamala was going to win in a landslide. Can't believe they would think that. And they're embarrassed right now. And so they're leaving like a bunch of sore losers. And they'll be back. They'll end up coming back. They're not going to be able to resist it. So, all right, number 10, real quick. We got 10 and 11. Try and make them both real quick. Number 10 came from the live group. Thanks for sending this over. Georgia mom. I guess Charlie is a parent. I'll see what you think about this. I'm not a parent. Georgia mom arrested after 10-year-old son walks alone into town. And so she got arrested for this. What I will do is I will play the video, the news story from it. And you guys tell me what you think, if this is an arrestable offense. Now, this is Georgia's DCFS, who we know from paying a lot of attention to what You Are the Power and Spike Cohen are doing. They tend to go a little bit overboard when it comes to stuff. And so now this parent got arrested because her kid, 10-year-old, was found walking to town. Here we go.
Well, there's a mom from a small town in North Georgia. She's facing a situation that she could have never, ever predicted. She didn't think twice about leaving her 10-year-old son at home while taking her other child to the doctor. But when the little boy wandered into town, someone called police. And tonight, she's sharing her story with Yasmin Vusan Yin with NBC Nightly News.
So when you got that phone call from the police officer saying, hey, do you know your kid is in town? What did you think?
I said no. I didn't know he was in town. I was not expecting them to say that, but I wasn't terrified for him or scared for his safety.
Well, police arrested her and charged her with reckless conduct.
All right, so reckless conduct because her 10-year-old walked into town. And Charlie, I don't know if you heard any of that story at all. So
I heard part of it. Yeah. She didn't know.
She didn't know, and also he was home, and his grandfather was at the house, so she didn't even leave him home alone. But she left, and then he was found walking to town. I would say if she told him to walk into town to buy a loaf of bread, that would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, I used to get on my bike and ride over the family pizza and get a couple Zesty Chefs, for me and my mom, like that. I don't even know how old I was when I was doing that, but I was pretty young.
You were doing Uber Eats before Uber Eats was invented.
Back in my day.
Did you get a tip?
This used to be totally fine. You stay outside, tell the sun was going down. Your mom had to ring the dinner bell.
Didn't 10-year-olds used to have paper routes?
I think they did.
I think they did.
Well, I surely think they did back in our day, Charlie. Let me tell you what. Now,
Eva's saying she must have had a Trump sign in the yard.
So, yeah, that's, I guess, protect your kids, folks. Don't let them go anywhere on their own. We'll see where this goes. I would say if it was like a frequent thing and your kid was just found out wandering around town because you were gone, yeah, they might see some kind of reckless endangerment eventually. I don't know about arresting someone like Is this the first time you found their kid?
By the way, I left home when I was like 3 in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I was with the babysitter.
Yeah.
And she didn't pay attention to us at all. It was a neighbor of my mother's. And I had a couple pennies in my pocket, and I went to try to buy a loaf of bread for my family. We were very poor, and I thought I was trying to help. And I wouldn't give the cops my information. I was a libertarian at 3.
You wouldn't? Did you say, am I being detained?
I wouldn't tell them where I lived or nothing. It wasn't until they let me play with the lights, the cop lights and stuff, that I finally
you said
started.
the whites.
No, the lights, the cop lights, that I finally started giving information out. That's all it took.
Oh, boy.
I got to turn on the siren.
Heard that. How have I never heard
You
this
never
story
heard that
before?
story?
No.
Oh, my mom
No.
loves the story. She was freaking out.
Never heard this.
And when I got home and the cops, they put my bike in the back of the cop car, I got to sit up front. At 3, I got to sit up front and play with the lights and sirens on the way home. Because after that, I told them my name was Charlie Brown. I did. And when they asked where I live, I'm like, I'm not telling you. That's how libertarian I am.
That's pretty good.
It started at 3. Anyway, I never got that loaf of bread.
This has been haunting you ever since.
And I wasn't supposed to talk to strangers, you know.
Mm.
And the cops
Did he introduce himself?
They kept lying. They're like, we're the good guys. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, right. I've seen this movie before.
Was the cop, she was like, I'm Dorothy Harris. And you're like, well, now we ain't strangers anymore. And then you guys just went on. That was it.
And then I got to sit up front as a 3-year-old. Right? I wasn't in a car seat or nothing.
That said 4-5 baby Chuck.
Yeah. And I got to play with the lights and sirens. They brought me home. My mom fell to her knees and crying. She was so happy that I was home. And then I got a spanking later that night for leaving. And,
okay.
And they interviewed the babysitter, and she was like, no, I wasn't watching them.
Nice.
So my mom was pretty upset about that.
The bench was not in Savannah anymore, Bailey, by the way. I did go to the area, to the park where he was sitting. But the bench is gone, and I did get a picture right there where the bench was sitting, the Forrest Gump bench, just so everyone who's listening knows. Okay, number 11, last one. Pretty good stuff here. Want to let everyone know, public service announcement, I'm sure you already know by now. 80,000 pounds of butter that were sold at Costco have been recalled. This is very dangerous stuff, and I need you guys to make sure you get it out of your fridge. Get it out of there because it has been recalled. And so let's go through some of the details. So if you purchased any butter from Costco lately, it's time to check your fridge. In early October, the FDA sent out an initial recall on Kirkland Signature butter produced by this place. The recall is for 79,200 pounds of butter due to an undeclared allergen. Now, you don't want to know. You don't want to have undeclared allergens. What is it, yellow 5? So what is it? I'm just going to keep making yellow 5 jokes.
Yeah.
According to the FDA, the packages of both salted and unsalted Kirkland Signature sweet cream butter listed cream as an ingredient, but may not contain the contains milk allergy statement visible on the packaging. On November 7th, the FDA classified the recall as Class 2, which means it is a situation in which use of or exposure to a violative product may cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences, or where the probability of serious adverse health consequences is remote. So it's Class 2, which is qualified for its remoteness. The recalled products produced and distributed in Texas include all these things. We'll give you a link so you guys can look that up and make sure. The CDC has noted that milk is one of the main foods that account for most serious allergic reactions in the U.S. They want you to know that the symptoms and severity of allergic reactions to food can be different between individuals, and a bunch of other government gobbledygook that the RFK is going to get cleaned up. Though the FDA has not put out information on what to do, I'm lost here. The FDA has not put out information on what to do if you have purchased these recalled items, nor has it shared if there have been any illness or adverse reactions from consuming the product. The usual course of action is to either discard them or return them to your place of purchase just in case. So they didn't put milk on the list of ingredients, and I want everyone to know right now, this is important. Butter is milk. It's literally milk. Okay?
It's made from milk.
It's made from milk. Milk is the ingredient. Unless it's, I can't believe it's not butter or something like that.
And the only thing you have to do is, when you want to churn, you ever felt like you walk into a room and you just
wanted to churn?
And you wanted to churn?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it is.
It's milk.
That's
now,
milk.
You have to believe that there are people with severe milk and dairy allergies
that have no idea
that accidentally bought this Kirkland's butter because it didn't say it contained milk. I guess. Like, those are the people that we're worried about, are the people who can't have butter.
Interestingly enough, I have a cousin of mine who has this allergy, a severe milk allergy. He's allergic to the protein in milk.
Probably vaccinated, huh?
It causes anaphylaxis in him. He's actually like he can't even have a Reese's cup. The kid has never had a Reese's cup in his entire life, which is sad. But he knows, and so does his parents. Of course, he's of age now. He's actually getting married here in a couple weeks.
Does she contain milk?
His whole life, he knows that he can't have butter.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, so he doesn't have butter.
Yeah, because it's made from milk.
He would have never gone to Costco and bought butter.
The best way to sum this up is Spike Cohen's super viral post, which got 22,000 reposts. Good job, Spike, on this post right here. Even saw it mentioned on CBS Morning News as a guy on Twitter, or a guy on X. He said 80,000 pounds of Costco butter was just recalled because the label doesn't say that it contains milk. It's butter. News articles are telling people how they can return or safely dispose of the butter. It's butter. That's it. Almost 7 million views at the time that I screenshot this. We have there's an education crisis. This is proof that we need to abolish the Department of Education.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Or increase funding.
Now, imagine there's some people probably who wore their masks like inside their house when they were watching MSNBC or something like that, who took the butter that they bought at the Kirkland's butter they bought at Costco, and they threw it away because it didn't say that it contained milk, even though they can have it. It's just butter, and they knew what they were having. I bet you there's some people who actually disposed of it or brought it back to exchange it for one that said that it had milk. Just saying. Guarantee you that happened. I guarantee you. All right, let's go through the dumb bleeps right fast. There are quite a few. The episode wasn't as long as it felt, actually. We just did a lot of talking beforehand.
A lot of pre-show.
A lot of pre-show stuff, which you can get to by going to joingmail.com, by the way. Number 1 was the Biden-Trump meeting. Number 2 was the FEMA discrimination. Number 3 was the identity politics from Chuck Schumer. Number 4, misgendering Miss Jenner. And number 5 was the Whoopsie sex strike. Number 6 is reactions to the Trump transition. Number 7, abolishing billionaires. Number 8, legalizing drugs, or Charlie Kirk's argument against it. Number 9, I'm leaving. Number 10, Georgia DCFS. And number 11, I can't believe it's butter.
I see what you did there. I noticed. I can't believe it's butter. I mean, that one's pretty dumb, but it looks like it's going to win handedly.
Is it winning?
Yeah.
I haven't looked yet. Well,
pretty handedly.
Tell the people what they can do while we're getting all the votes.
Get your
tallied.
votes in. Y'all share the show with a friend, a family member, or foe. Not on Spotify because it's not up yet. Still working on those issues, but leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's where you can go if you're an Apple user. For those that aren't, well, one day soon, within this next year and a half,
will probably happen.
It will get it working again.
Maybe.
This is a coup.
It is. This is censorship.
Of truth in podcast.
Yep.
For those, at least on my side, that have predicted this year's outcomes. You know, they heard it here first.
This is basically a soft FBI raid against us right now for predicting the outcome of the election.
I'm surprised I wasn't. I haven't had my house raided like the Poly Market guy.
I know.
Because I predicted, I mean, go back to episode, what was it? 984.
Somewhere around 500 episodes ago.
500 episodes ago where I said Trump was going to win again. Everyone who thinks like I do.
Dude, I've been saying for almost 4 years now that there was no way Trump would ever win the election. I mean, as soon as he announced, I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah, good thing I got it right.
But I did not anticipate
voting for him.
I did not. Well, no, I definitely did not. I didn't anticipate that until 2 weeks ago. I did not anticipate them nominating like one of the least popular politicians that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Why not?
To run against him. So that's pretty crazy. Who won the dumb bleep, by the way?
I can't believe it's Butter.
I can't believe it's Butter. Good
Ran
job,
away
everyone.
with it.
Good job, Spike, on that tweet.
All right.
Post.
Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Share the show. Go to godhatesfeds.com or join gmail.com to be part of the Fed Haters Club. We appreciate every single one of you for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And we do the show 5 days a week whenever we want to.
Yeah, so who technically is the dumb? By the way, sorry. Live group, they get preference. Who is is it the FDA?
The FDA.
Okay.
Yeah, for making the recall.
So the FDA wins. The non-RFK FDA wins right now.
This is their last push to save Americans.
Might not be getting any more dumbs from
before.
What are we going to do when the government doesn't do anything dumb anymore? Now that we fixed everything in America,
this is the last. Along with people campaigning to get your vaccines, this is the last push to actually keep Americans safe from butter.
Yep.
Before RFK comes in and destroys pertinent information like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I guess it is pretty.
It reminds me. Have you seen those medication commercials? And they'll do the commercial, and when they do the stuff at the end of it, the disclaimers, they'll say, "Don't take this medication if you're allergic to this medication." The name of the medication. I don't know what. Like, let's say it was
brand new medication.
Yeah, Jardiance, and you're doing that. They're like, "Don't take Jardiance if you're allergic to Jardiance." That's where we are right now.
I like the ones that are like may cause death. Talk to your doctor. I want that
medication is more dangerous than COVID.
Yeah,
actually. So.
All right, y'all. Do all the things I said or don't. I don't really care, but Nate does. And if you do, we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day, a good weekend, and a good morning, Liberty.